Catherine, how about you? Any big challenges or fears that you've faced that you've been able to overcome?
Yeah, just like Jennifer, I think I could share quite a few things here. A large challenge for me was just even breaking into multifamily. I've been in the industry for about 4 years, but I actually started in the advertising agency. So a challenge is breaking in, a fear is failing at something new. And I think I was able to really overcome this by just immersing myself in multifamily, knowing that you're going to be working with people that have been in the industry for 30 plus years, that know the ins and the outs, and just the understanding of making sure that I understood the vernacular, that I was able to really understand the key players within the industry, key processes, and players within Alliance. I actually served as the director of operations for our Southwest team for a bit of time before moving into my current role, just to really learn the operations side of the business more than I really knew in marketing prior to that. And I think a fear of really failing at something new. I've been with Alliance for 4 years, and preparing for this panel, I was really thinking about this. I've served in 5 different roles within Alliance. Every single one of these roles didn't exist before I came into it. So I've had the luxury of really growing from within the company. We've grown a ton over the years as a company and as an organization. So it's been a challenge to not only fulfill the role, but really craft the role, understand the need for the role, and what I could really bring to the table. Yeah, I'll share a pretty recent achievements, which certainly started as a challenge. When I started with Alliance about 4 years ago, we were about 8 people in our marketing department, set up in a similar structure than we are today, but we've now grown to about 35 people. So we are pretty unique in the fact that we do a lot of our marketing in-house, but obviously the growth came from the growth of our portfolio, and a couple of months ago, almost about a year ago now, we kind of looked at each other and said, we're not set up for scalability. And we looked at our processes and our communication breakdown, both with our operators, but also even looking internally between our teams, not having complete visibility into what everyone was doing, and just really broken processes. So I think the easy part was identifying those broken areas, but the hard part was the understanding that it was actually going to get worse before it got better, when we decided that we needed to completely overhaul and reorg this team. And that was, of course, because we were breaking down the silos. We were having additional visibility into what was actually being done, and we were trying to rebuild a team and restructure, but we still had 350 properties that we had to manage marketing efforts for day to day. But I think the key piece that came out of this reorg, at least for me as the director of marketing strategy, was the creation of a strategy sub-department within our marketing team. So we took our regional marketing managers and we turned them into regional marketing strategists. So a lot of their day-to-day roles and their one-off requests and things that they had been historically handling was actually reallocated to another part of our department, so that they could truly focus on strategy and proactive planning. And the shift has really changed the culture of our marketing department to be a data and strategy focused department. Everything we do starts with that strategy. And so we've changed the mentality of our operators to come to us with your business solution and let us help you craft a plan. Don't come to us when you have high ATR or you're seeing real big need for traffic. We need to be there at the forefront. We need to be putting together a proactive plan. So we're constantly looking at data and understanding what's working and what's not. And it's been a really big achievement. And I think what I can learn from that is it's okay to do things differently. It's okay to break out of the norm and hopefully see success with that.
Thank you, Catherine. So I'd like to shift the focus in the next question over to Catherine. So Catherine, for you, what are the challenges that you faced in keeping up with trends in marketing within multifamily?
Yeah, I mean, I've alluded to this. We do things quite differently at Alliance. We have the luxury at Alliance of having a true in-house ad and digital agency. which means that a lot of us, myself included, actually came from the advertising industry. So we are doing everything in-house. We're not necessarily working with an outside agency, but we're creating one cohesive message, and we're sending that out over all of our channels and making sure that everything's consistent. So where we've been really successful is looking at our industry veterans. I kind of consider myself, I mean, 4 years is definitely not a veteran compared to most people, but compared to a lot of our new talent within our team, it certainly is more knowledge than a lot of our team members have in our current multifamily space. But it's mixing those veterans with new agency talent. What that's allowed us to do is just really understand what works in multifamily and executing that, but we're also able to play in spaces that we may not necessarily be in as an industry, and pulling in things that we know from other industries. I think a couple people talked about that yesterday, of looking outside of multifamily. So my takeaway to you all is not to go and create in-house teams. I know that's not feasible for a lot of people, but it really is to focus on innovation and the need to be looking at things differently sometimes, the need to be out ahead of our competitors. And it's been a challenge sometimes to work with our internal teams as to why. You know, I have a lot of my development teams or my operators or owners coming to me and saying, well, what's the ROI on this new tactic that you're proposing? Or what can I expect? Is there a case study? Have you done this before? If I invest either my time or my money, is usually the case, what can I expect? And a lot of times with some of these newer tactics or newer ideas, there really isn't an answer for that. So it's just the constant conversations on innovation and being agile. And marketing is not a silver bullet. There's no real answer to, if you do this, then you'll receive this. So it's being agile, it's looking at reporting, it's monitoring, and it's changing and being agile.
My question is about finding new professional talent in our industry. So I'm on a local board out of St. Louis, our state board, and then I do a lot with the National Apartment Association. One of the things I keep hearing as a common theme is finding that new outlet or inlet for talent with our industry. We've made the joke, we've all fallen into this. A lot of us have. I've noticed there's a few universities that are starting to add programs in real estate in our profession, but I'm asked this question so much: where do I find this new blood, this new leadership, this new talent in your industries and where you're at around the country? Are you seeing more programs to develop new people to come into our industry, new leadership? Are you seeing it? Because we're seeing it a little bit, but not as much as I think we should.
Catherine?
I talked a little bit about this on our panel yesterday, but I think as leaders in multifamily, it's our job to get the word out there as to why multifamily. A lot of times, especially at a college level, people are not maybe even aware that this industry exists or the opportunities there. So we spend a lot of time on internship programs and getting people to come work with us. We actually have, as part of our program, if you're working with us for 3 years, we can find a business manager role for you after 3 summers. But we created a campaign called Multitunity, and that is really going out into our college campuses and surrounding areas, more looking for that young professional talent, and making sure that they understand that there are a lot of opportunities within this industry. So I think that's part of what we're doing. It's using our networks right now that we have surround us, and we're on boards, and we have people right in front of us, but we need to look past that into people that may not even be considering us as a field.
Successful? I mean, are people embracing, because most don't even know about our industry?
Correct. Yeah, we've had a lot of success, and that's been the goal of our talent team, is just using that. We did another one called "This Is My Office," and it's showing people in their spaces. You know, it's our development teams out on site. It's our managers that are sitting in these great lease-up communities across the country, and they're not behind a cubicle. I mean, there's a lot of really great things that we have going for us in this industry, and that people can embrace in their careers, and it's highlighting that, it's showcasing that.
You're in a leadership position. What if you had one tip? Now, here's, I'm going to frame this up. Be quick, but your secret sauce, your takeaway. What's one thing that you could tip us off to? It's a ritual, something you do personally, not your company. You hang your success on this. It's when you go to bed. It's when you wake up. It's you read, you journal, you write. You do something unique to yourself. That's the one thing that you could share with us. Kind of like, I call it a success tip.
As much as you can, shut your brain off at the end of the day. I think our to-do list can grow and grow and grow. Work will always be there. Have a work-life balance so that you keep some sort of sanity in your ever-growing to-do list.